Hello students, I'm Dr. Tisha Vyas, Assistant Professor Biotechnology at Syusha Institute of Science. In today's lecture, we are going to have a look at the biotechnology enterprise and entrepreneurship development. These are the content of the following lecture. Now first of all, let us have a look at the definition of entrepreneur. See, entrepreneur is the one who organizes. He also manages and assumes the risk of a business or an enterprise, or you can say the whole industry. According to a person, that is A.H. Cole, he has defined entrepreneurship that it is a kind of activity, whether it might be of a single individual or a group or of associated individuals. They undertake this initiative to maintain as well as to organize profit-oriented business for the production or for the distribution of goods as well as the services. And according to Joseph Scumter, an entrepreneur is an innovator. He is an innovative person who brings economic development through new combinations of factors of production. So this slide clearly defines that what is an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a person who organizes, he also manages and assumes the risk of a business or an enterprise. And entrepreneurship is an whole activity, whether it might be of single individuals or of groups or of other associated individuals, and they take the initiative to organize a business unit that is profit based and also for the production and distribution of economic goods and services. Now let us have a look at the characteristics of an entrepreneur. I have listed down a few characteristics of an entrepreneur. See, while there can be as many characteristics of entrepreneurship as there are people in this world with opinions, there are some characteristics that are considered indispensable or necessary in an entrepreneur. Okay, these are listed here as follows, that is mental ability, clear objective, human relation ability, communication ability, technical knowledge, motivator, self-confidence, long-term investment, high energy level, initiative and problem solver. I'll explain a few of them to you. See, ability is to take the risk. This is the first and the foremost trait, or you can say the characteristic of an entrepreneurship. Starting any business involves a considerable amount of risk of failure. Therefore, the courage and the capacity to take the said risk are essential for an entrepreneur. Innovation. In the world where almost everything has been done, innovation is priceless gift to have. Innovation basically means generating a new idea with which you can start a business and achieve a substantial amount of profits. An easy example of product innovation could be the launching of touchscreen cell phones when the world was still using a keypad on cell phone. The next characteristics, that is visionary. Every entrepreneur needs to be a visionary. Without a vision for the future of his venture, he or she would just be working aimlessly without reaching any point of success. The next one is leadership. An entrepreneur has a vision. However, it takes a lot of resources to turn that vision into reality. So one of these resources are the people that the entrepreneur hires to perform various functions like the production, the supplying, accounting, etc. A single person cannot perform all the tasks, and therefore it is important to bring some more people to do it. This also makes leadership very important, as a leader provides the required direction to the efforts of the employees. So without proper leadership, everyone would be working independently without achieving the desired results. The next one, that is open-mindedness. A good entrepreneur realizes that every situation can be a business opportunity, thus can be utilized for the benefit of the organization. For example, Paytm realized the significance of demonetization and recognized that the need for online transactions was more than ever during this period, and so it utilized and grew massively during this period. The next characteristic, that is confident and well informed. An entrepreneur needs to be confident about his ideas and skills. This confidence so inspires the confidence of the people working for him as well as the other stakeholders involved in his business. Now let us have a look at the clear perception of the entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurs, and as well as the definition of the entrepreneurship. See, entrepreneurship is basically the creation or extraction of the value. With this definition, entrepreneurship is viewed as change which may include other values than simply economic ones. Some more narrow definitions has described entrepreneurship as the process of designing, launching, and running a new business, which is often initially a small business, or as the capacity and willingness to develop, organize, and manage a business venture, along with any of its risk to take a profit. The people who creates this business are often referred to as entrepreneurs. While the definitions of entrepreneurship typically focuses on the launching and running of the business. Due to the high risk involved in launching a startup, a significant proportion of startup businesses have to close due to the lack of funding, the bad business decisions, an economic crisis, lack of market demand, or a combination of all of this. Now the word entrepreneur, it originated from the French word that is entrepreneurial, which means to undertake. In a business context, it means to start a business. And according to a dictionary, it presents the definition of entrepreneur, that is the one who organizes as well as manages and assumes the risk of a business or an enterprise. Now let us have a look at what is corporate social entrepreneurship as well as what is corporate social responsibility. A corporate social entrepreneur is defined as the employee of the firm who operates in a socially entrepreneurial manner, identifying the opportunities and championing socially responsible activities. So basically over here, the social entrepreneur is telling you that he is an employee who operates in a socially entrepreneur, or you can say the business manner, and grabbing all the opportunities that is coming to his way, in addition to helping the firm achieving its business targets. The corporate social entrepreneurship, that is CSE, operates regardlessly of an organizational context that is predisposed towards corporate social responsibility, that is CSR. So basically CSR, it is a concept that enterprises integrate social as well as environmental concerns into their mainstream business operations on a voluntary basis. Now, while the government provides a regulatory framework governing issues such as employment rights, environmental protection, equality, and fair trading, CSR, that is corporate social responsibility, goes beyond compliances with legislative requirements and creates shared value through collaborations with all the stakeholders. It also ensures that the interest of enterprises and the interest of the wider society are mutually supportive. So the notion of the CSE, that is corporate social entrepreneurship, primarily relates to the field of the corporate social responsibility. It is thus relevant to both practitioners and the scholars of the business and management, and more specifically to all the fields of business ethics, organizational behavior, the entrepreneurship, the human resource management, and business strategy. So moreover, the concept is inherently linked with the notion of personal values, in itself a field of study from sociology, anthropology, and social physiology. Now let us have a look at what is the process economics as well as what is the role of an entrepreneur in the economic development. So these are the certain roles. The first one, that is it promotes capital formation. See, entrepreneur, it promotes capital formation by mobilizing the ideal saving of the public. Okay, so mobilizing means for the rotation of the savings or the monetary of the public. Now they employ their own as well as borrowed resources for setting up their enterprises. So either for the startup, they either borrow the money or they take resources from the other industries or businesses to establish their startup. It is a source of creation of wealth. So basically it is a source of the capital generation, or you can say the capital formation, so which is very essential for the industrial as well as the economic development of a country. Now the second one, that is it creates large scale employment opportunity. It is obvious that whenever there is a business startup, it provides the opportunity to many individuals to establish their career. So entrepreneur provides the immediate large scale employment to the unemployed, which is a chronic problem. Chronic problem means a major problem that is suffered in any country, that is unemployment. So the problem of unemployment can be solved to a certain extent. Now the third one, that is it promotes a balanced regional development. So entrepreneur helps to remove the regional disparities, that is the imbalance in the society, through setting up of industries in less developed and backward areas. So it can solve the problems that are faced in between the rural and urban areas as they set up their businesses in the backward areas. So setting up more industries will lead to more development of the backward regions, and thereby it promotes a balanced regional development. The next role, that is it reduces the concentration of economic power. See, economic power is the natural outcome of the industrial and the business activities. So industrial development, it normally leads to concentration of economic power in the hands of the few individuals, so it results in the growth of the monopolies. So to stop this monopolies, it helps to generate economic to the newly developed industries as well as the businesses. The next one, that is wealth creation and distribution. As we talked earlier also, that it helps in capital formation. So it stimulates equitable redistribution of wealth and income in the interest of the country to more people and geographic areas, thus giving benefits to the larger section of the society. And it also removes the inequality of the society. The next one, that is it helps in the improvement in the standard of living. As you know, the income and the wealth creation increases, the standard of living of an individual as well as the entrepreneur and the businesses will also increase. So increase in the standard of living of people is a characteristic feature of the economic development of the country. An entrepreneur, it plays a key role in increasing the standard of living of the people by adopting the latest innovations. And as I told you, as the wealth increases, the economic increases, automatically the standard of living of the entrepreneur will also increase. The next role, that is it helps in increasing the gross national product and as well as the per capita income. See, entrepreneurs are always on the outlook for opportunities, and their sole and whole goal is to improve the economic as well as the gross and the per capita income of the country as well as their businesses. So what they basically do is they explore and they exploit the opportunities, that is they find out different opportunities in their field. They encourage effective resources mobilization of capital and skill. Okay, that is adapting the good way of increasing the economic, and then bringing in the new products as well as the services and develop markets for the growth of the economy. So in this way, what happens, they will help in increasing the gross national product as well as the per capita income of the people in the country. The next one, that is it facilitates the overall development. See, basically entrepreneurs, they act as the catalytic agent. as you all know what is catalysis, that it helps in enhancing any kind of chemical reaction. So basically over here the entrepreneur is also acting like an catalytic agent which helps in enhancing the results of their business, in results of their economics. So once an enterprise is established, the process of industrialization is set in motion. So this unit will generate demand for various types of units required by it, and there will be so many other units which require the output of this units. So basically once an enterprise is developed, it will attract many units towards it, and by attracting many units towards it, it facilitates means it increases the overall development. So this leads to overall development of an area due to the increasing in demand, okay, as well as bringing all the
Could you try again?
Units in demand and setting up more and more businesses as well as enterprise, and bringing an enthusiasm in the environment as well as in the country for the overall development of the area. This diagram is of the business training centers. As you can see, there are different levels, and this different level, it indicates different opportunities as well as the improvement for the businesses. See, a number of transitional economies have already been developed, and they have developed a network of business training centers, that is the BTCs. Now this BTCs, they have a variety of functions such as the business training, consulting, and serving as an information resource or library for the business people. Now they might be organized as the semi-public non-profit companies or as a private companies. So they might be financed by the local governments or by consulting fees and user charges, or even by the international donors. So over here you can see that there are different business training centers with different functions such as ideation, business planning workshops. Then there are mentoring and incubation centers. Now what are incubators? See, incubators, they provide some of the standard infrastructure, that is either you can say a space or communications and support services for the new startups, so that the entrepreneurs can focus on what is unique to their business. So incubator is basically a center which helps in the startup of their business. So some incubators also provide consulting services and advices. Like the government of Gujarat, they have established many bio incubators to promote the entrepreneurship in Gujarat state. So this bio incubators, they provide basic infrastructure facility to the entrepreneurs to start their projects. The next one, that is entrepreneur development as well as the entrepreneur mentoring program. Now it is a common thing that much of the entrepreneurship cannot be captured and transferred into the textbooks. So thus, to be successful, business cultures need to be developed, ways in which entrepreneurial skills in their embodied forms can be socially transmitted. It can be progressed or it can be recycled to aspiring and young mid-career people. This particular figure is of the pyramid for the entrepreneurship. See, as you can see over here, there are different stages and different things which entirely makes up an entrepreneurship. The first one, that is innovation. As you all know, without innovation, you cannot establish and start up. So innovation is the most essential thing that is required for starting up a business. The second most important thing, that is risk measurement and risk taking. So if a business is not ready to take the risk, then the progress of that business is not sure shot, or it cannot be 100% successful business. The next one, that is to analyze the opportunities and threats. See, a entrepreneur can not only identify the opportunities, but for him it is also essential to identify the threats which are involved in taking the innovative steps. The next one, that is preparing a business plan. See, without preparing a business plan or an entrepreneurship development progress, a company cannot haphazardly progress in its path. The next one, that is the organization of the venture. It is essential for the entire enterprise to organize a complete venture of the entrepreneurs as well as the units that are involved in this particular program. The next one, that is development and the growth of the venture. See, after the organization of the venture, an entrepreneur has to look forward that whether the growth of the venture is towards the progressive path. The next one, that is to prepare a business plan, and then the supervision and control of that plan. Now let us have a look at what is entrepreneur process and the framework for the analysis of the entrepreneurship. See, there are many ways to organize the effort of the planning as well as the launching and building a venture. You can see over here that there are the three main aspects of the framework, that is the investment prospectus, the second one that is company's plan, and the third one that is execution of that particular plan. So it is useful to break the entrepreneurial process into 5 phases, that is idea generation, the opportunity evaluation, planning the company formation, as well as the launch and the growth of the company. The first one, that is idea generation, it comes inside the investment prospectus. It involves everything right from the risk, the return, the team, as well as the opportunities coming their path, the solution of the risk. So basically idea generation is that every new venture, it begins with an innovative idea. So it need or the problem of the some constituency coupled with a concept of possible solutions can be described as an idea. So idea or innovation involves everything right from taking the possible steps in the progressive way as well as the risk involved in that particular step. The next one, that is the opportunity evaluation. Opportunity evaluation is that entrepreneur should be that hard working as well as sharp that he can evaluate the opportunity coming to that particular business, whether from the individual or whether it is coming from the entire company or from the investors, as well as the time and the energy of the set of the people. The next one, that is planning, that is strategy. It involves the target customers, the business model formation, the position of the business, as well as the objectives involved in that particular business. Planning is a planning is essential as a strong planning as well as the business model is needed to capitalize the opportunity. See, a plan begins as a fairly simple set of ideas and then it becomes more and more complex as the business takes the shape of that idea. So in the planning phase, two things are needed. The first one, that is the strategy, and the second one, that is the operating plan. Now what is operating plan? Operating plan, it involves the plan where it involves the company's timeline, the staffing plan, as well as the budget involved in the staff as well as the outward budget. So the company formation or the launch is once there is a sufficient compelling opportunity and a plan, the entrepreneur team will go through the process of choosing right from the corporate entity and actually creating the venture in a legal entity. The next one, that is execution of that particular plan. It involves a way lot of steps right from the market research, the marketing of the product, the business development, the forecasting of the product, the sales planning, the research and development management, the operational management, process and infrastructure management, the budgeting and finances, that is the economics, as well as the people management. See, after the launch, the company, it works towards creating its product or the services and then generating the revenue and moving towards the sustainable performance of that particular idea that begin from a startup. So the emphasis shifts from the planning to the execution path. And as a first step, the marketing plan is executed, and in growth phase, so basic ideas are redefined, they are re-evaluated and revised. Now let us have a look at what is the business model, or you can say what is the entrepreneurship plant management. See, a business model is basically a kind of theory which is involved in the process of making revenue, or you can say it is involved in generating the capital or the generating the income. So it involves the definition of a solution to the customer's need, a hypothesis about how and how much the customers will pay for that solution, and if there are any assumptions required for the theory to be true, then this should also be articulated, or you can say this can also be executed. So over here the figure which you can see, it involves the basic steps that helps in making the business model, that is the key drivers, the value proposition of the ideas, the collaboration of different units with the business, the execution of that particular plan, the equity growth means the per capita income out of that particular idea, then the business evaluation, that is the growth in which the business is going forward, the goals and objectives of that particular business, the short team involves the group of individuals which are involved in that particular entrepreneurship, then the business model, that is making of the plan which involves the ideas regarding the startup, and the long team it helps in the execution of that particular plan. So the first one is the proposition as well as the position. Now the position refers both to how a company is differentiated from any of its competitors and also how it relates to the other companies in the value chain. So this is an opportunity to define at a fundamental level that what the company will do and will not be able to do. So it is a kind of vision which is necessary to inspire the investors as well as the recruiters, and to motivate the employees, and to execute the customers and the partners. The next one, that is the objectives, the goals and the objectives, or you can say the milestones of that particular business. See, as a first step towards creating the operating plans, a set of high level objectives for the business should be created. So this could include the key milestones, that is milestone means the partnerships, the customers, the prototypes of the business, as well as the shares or the penetration into the chosen market. A clear articulation of the objectives will help to set priorities of the venture and will also be critically involved in taking the toughest decisions which has to be faced by that particular businessman. The next one, that is operating the plan, that is the execution of that particular business model. So the operating plan is to take different things or different ideas on a different level. So whether it is the different activities like marketing, the selling, engineering, all these activities should yield a merchandise by a certain date, the possible partners, the customers, as well as the different activities which drive the financial performance of the company. The next one, that is the execution of that particular plan. So as you all know that execution is the activity which is performed in an organized manner for the function of the company. The next one, that is the long team. As I told you, long team is basically involved in the execution of any particular idea which helps in the equity growth as well as the operational management of that particular entrepreneurship. Now let us have a look at what is bioentrepreneurship. See, basically the term bioentrepreneurship, it involves the two different disciplines. That is the first one, that is science, and the second one, that is business. So as you can understand that it is the flow of innovation, or you can say the flow of ideas from the academia or from the business of research and development towards the industry or towards the generation of the income from it. See, in biotechnology entrepreneur, see, it can claim of their start to go from mainly research towards the economics of the business. A bio entrepreneur, it would take the advantage of capabilities. It can also take the technical expertise residing in the licensors laboratories by collaboration of the research and the technology. So technology transfer between the institutions and the startup companies, it helps in the development of an entrepreneurship. Now this is the business model which helps you in understanding the technology transfer. Over here you can see that there are two technologies involved. The first one, that is academic center, and the second one, that is industry partner. So basically academic center involves the individuals related to the field of technology, related to the field of research. So basically what they will do is they will carry out the study designs, that is first is the human trials and then is the third party technology resources. And on the another side, that is the industry partner, it basically helps in providing the funding. It also helps in commercializing the product and maintain the regulatory aspects of that particular product. After that, this generated product, it will go towards the government body, and they will take the final decision of whether the patent can be registered and whether the product can be released into the market or not. And then it involves the exclusive rights for that particular commercial development, and this academia reserve rights to the researchers, to the people involved in the field of education. It also involves the people involved in the field of clinical services, and also the people related to the field of pharma. Now let us have a look towards the entrepreneurship development in India. I would like to give you two examples. The first one, that is of the Biocon industry. See, Biocon India has incorporated a joint venture between the Biocon Mazumdar Shaw and the Ireland Biochemical Limited. So this Biocon Limited has partnership with the Amylin Pharmaceuticals, which help them to enter into a global development and commercialization agreement of a novel peptide hybrid. So this program is focused on the potential treatment of diabetes. Cyanogen, a subsidiary of Biocon Group, in collaboration with Abbott, and they have dedicated a nutrition research as well as the development center at the Biocon Park. Now there is also another example, that is the establishment of innovation centers by Johnson and Johnson in Boston, that is San Francisco, Shanghai, as well as in London. So scientists from academia are embracing this model as well. They are given the pressures of funding their research and to drive to see their work not only published in leading journals but also seeing the products of their research turn into the actual product generating the economics. Now see, entrepreneurship development, it not only involves the strength as well as the opportunities, it also involves the pros and cons, that is the weakness as well as the threats of a particular industry. A strength can involve entrepreneurs maintaining the control over their company's decision. The next one, that is the capital, is very accessible, that is generation of economics is very accessible. The opportunity to test idea is marketability. So to generate a small idea into a working model is involved as an strength. Now the benefits of communities both locally and internationally. So as I told you earlier also, that by collaborating with the companies located internationally, they can exploit their opportunities. The next one, that is to utilize the power of social networks for the promotion and connect with crowdsourcing. Basically crowdsourcing is to generate their idea into the public and its execution. The next one, that is the positive effect of crowdfunding on the economy. That is the idea or a small product can develop into an economically generating product, and that is being funded by the public. The niche investment opportunity and the way to raise the capital, and so in the end the small product developed from academia, it can generate into a capital generating idea. Now let us have a look at the weaknesses and the threats of that particular entrepreneurship. See, administrative and accounting challenges. As you all know that as you widen up the business, there involves many challenges in the field of accounting. The ideas and business models presented public can easily be stolen. As you know that once you generate the ideas into the public, the ideas can be stolen by the another industry or the business. The weaker investor protection and the potential for fraud. Then there are also internet based, so investors might lack the detailed advice. The threats. The current legal restriction in some jurisdictions are not suitable for equity crowdfunding, and so the risky nature of the small businesses, that is their ideas can be stolen and can be generated by the other industries. Now let us have a look at the different academic and research and development institutes that provide the R&D support to the small scale industry, as well as which helps in the promoting of the innovation based enterprises. The first one, that is STEP. It stands for the Science and Technology Entrepreneur Parks. Its main aim is to provide the link between the universities, the academics, as well as the R&D institutes, and to provide the R&D support to the small scale industry and to promote the innovation based enterprises. The next one, that is IEDC. IEDC stands for the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Cell. It is basically helping in promoting the educational institutes to create the entrepreneurial culture as well as to encourage their innovation amongst the students. The next one, that is EDP, that is Entrepreneurship Development Program. It is a training program basically which is of 6 to 8 weeks duration, and its main aim is to train the students in various aspects of starting an enterprise. The next one, that is OLPE, which stands for the Open Learning Program in Entrepreneurship, is a long distance learning program that helps in the potential businessmen through study and study materials and to contact the programs to help imparting the knowledge on end-to-end processes, as well as helps in the process of running an entrepreneurship. The next one, that is EAC, that stands for the Entrepreneurship Awareness Camp, which is a 3 days duration process, training process that exposes the students to entrepreneurship to take them as a career. The next one, that is STEDS, that is Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development. It is a scheme that aims at the socio-economic development of a particular area and by optimizing the usage of the natural and the human resources of an area. The next one, that is FDP, that is the Faculty Development Program, is aimed at the training programs related to the faculty of that institute and in end to encourage the faculty to take up the new steps to impart knowledge to the students. The next one, that is TEDP. It stands for the Technology Based Entrepreneurship Development Program, which is a 6 weeks duration training developed jointly in association with the R&D institutions as well as the CSIR labs as well as the BIRAC labs, and the training is mainly focused on the specific merchandise as well as the specific technologies. Now there are many bioincubators which are located all over India. Basically BIRAC, that is Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, it is a not-for-profit Section 8. It is Schedule B public sector enterprise. It is set up by the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India as an interface agency to strengthen and empower the emerging biotech enterprise to undertake the strategic research and innovation addressing the nationally relevant product development needs. It is an industry academia interface and it helps to implement and mandate through a wide range of impact initiatives and to provide access to risk capital through targeted funding, technology transfer, as well as IP management and hand-holding schemes that helps bringing innovation excellence to the biotech firms and to make them globally competitive. So BIRAC is basically the bioincubators which are located all over India. Here are the few which I have mentioned. There are the CAMP Bangalore. It is located in Hyderabad University, Hyderabad. It is located in Vellore in VIT. Then ICRI SAT, it is Hyderabad, IARI. Then BV Patel Pod Center, which is located in Ahmedabad, as well as in Ahmedabad University, Gujarat. Here I have mentioned around 50 entrepreneurs which are which are involved in the work of biotech industry, and they are also listed as the bio entrepreneurs of India. I'll explain the few of you to them. The first one, that is Mr. Ramanbhai Patel, is associated with Zydus Cadila. It is the first generation entrepreneur, and when the newly independent nation was dependent on import of drugs, he had set out to prove that a local company could provide innovative research-based quality medicines, and Zydus Cadila was initially called as the Cadila Laboratories, and then slowly the company evolved in the next 4 decades into one of the India's established pharmaceutical companies. The founder, that is Mr. Ramanbhai Patel, its contribution is in the field of pharmaceutical educations and also in the field of healthcare. The Zydus Research Center is set up during the lifetime of Mr. Ramanbhai Patel, and he had studied from the LM College of Pharmacy and organized the first national pharmaceutical conference in Ahmedabad. The next one, that is Miss Kiran Majmundar Shaw. As you all know, we had studied in the previous lecture that she is the founder of Biocon India. It is the largest biotechnology firm in India, and it is founded by Miss Kiran Majmundar Shaw. She is listed as one of among India's and world's most powerful women, and she has worked as a trainee brewer in United Breweries in Melbourne and also as a technical consultant in Kolkata. In 1978, she had joined Biocon Limited, Ireland as a trainee, and later she came back to India. Though she faced many challenges, with single-minded determination she overcame all the challenges and evolved the largest biopharmaceutical company with a well-balanced business portfolio. The next, that is Mr. Piyush Palkiwala, is the owner of MAPS Enzyme Gujarat. He had started the MAPS industry in the year 1975. It is a small unit producing alpha amylase for textile design unit application under the name of Falcozyme, and in 1995 he was awarded the prestigious Best Entrepreneur of the Year by Rotary International Club, and now with the sophisticated production plan, a dedicated research and development center. Its company, MAPS Enzyme, is India's largest producer and exporter of enzymes and microorganisms and a leading player in the global market. The next one, that is the owner of Shanta Biotechnics Hyderabad, that is K. Varaprasad Reddy. He is the founder and has produced the first genetically engineered hepatitis B vaccine in the Hyderabad laboratory, and earlier he worked as a research scientist for defense electronics research in and he has also won the Entrepreneur Award in the year 2000 and also the Biospectrum Person of the Year Award in 2007 for pioneering a biotech wave. So these four are considered as the pioneers of the bio entrepreneurs and has to be remembered. These are the main questions related to the lecture, that is define entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, and also mention the characteristics and skills of an entrepreneur. The next one, that is what is the process economics, and give the relationship between entrepreneurship and economic development. The third question is to give the role of entrepreneurs in economic development. The next one is what are incubators and entrepreneurship mentoring program. It also involves to give the framework of entrepreneur process, means is to draw the entire framework and also to explain it, then to draw a business model and to describe it, then what are the bio entrepreneurship and to draw a business model for the technology transfer. Mention all the academic and R&D institutions that promote innovation-based enterprises, and then name the bio incubators that are located across India, and also mention the 4 biotechnology entrepreneurs of India. Thank you for hearing me out. If you have any queries, you can mail me.